Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. Hope everybody's doing well. Everybody should be hearing me, and I do have it recording. So, last ICT Twitter space of 2022. I'm sure it's probably going to be a boring one. So, I kind of like want to just do a brief review of the year and kind of like go through a bullet point checklist of things. I promise I won't take too long with it. But last year, I mentioned that I was going to no longer do paid memberships and mentorships and bringing people into a private community. And I would move to a public forum and I would be teaching on YouTube and I would return back to Twitter. I have done those things. And I also went one step further to quell the pursuits of people simply blindly taking my premium content, core lessons, and videos and selling them to other people for personal profit. I put them up on my YouTube channel. So all of the core content 1 through 12 that is on my YouTube. You're welcome to go through that and study it at your own pace and leisure. And also mentioned that I was going to go out and teach a model that was, in my opinion, very simple. Agreed that if you're a complete neophyte and you don't know what you're doing at all, even the 2022 model that's on my YouTube channel can be a little intimidating. But for those that have plundered through and made their way through copious amounts of videos and lectures and boring dronings by good old ICT, that one struck pay dirt, didn't it? It was something that made a whole lot of sense. It doesn't have a lot of moving parts. And you also saw me use it in live streams. You saw me do it in live trades. You saw me do it in demo trades. You saw me outline it beforehand. You saw me outline it in commentary. You heard me talk about it setting up in Twitter Spaces. Okay, so it's undeniable. You also saw many people all around the world step forward and place themselves behind the screens and do the work. And they have been funded. They have made money. They have withdrawn profits. They've made their way to the heights of the leaderboards of some of these funded account challenges. Okay. And that's undeniable proof. It's a transferable skill set. It's not something that's limited to me. So that should be inspiring to you. I've also stated that I was going to make it more accessible for you going into 2023. Okay. And 2023 is kind of like my victory lap. Okay. The last year for me to be, pouring myself out. As a younger man, I had a lot of energy and I had a lot of, um, fire, let's put it that way. And there's changes occurring in my body that I can feel that I've been feeling for the last 5 years. And it's slowing me down. And I can't deny it. I mean, I tried to pretend it wasn't like that, but it certainly is. And no, I'm not sick. It's just, I've had a lot of car accidents and, working out, hurting myself, motorcycle accident. It's all kinds of things that have compounded over the years. And I just want to start taking a little bit easier on myself. And my family more or less wants to see me a little bit. And my wife wants me in her entirety. Like I want to provide myself to her more often than not I have. So we made an arrangement that, the 2023 would be my last year doing all this stuff. And it doesn't mean I won't make videos going forward beyond that. But like I mentioned in the last stream, it's probably not going to be anywhere near the pace that you're used to. And that's actually a good thing because you want to see that you have grown to a point of independence, not needing me to hold your hand And that's kind of like the goal. That's my only goal for 2023. I want to make zero excuses for anyone that has put the work in, studied, back tested, forward tested, tape reading, the whole business. And there'll be no excuse because if you follow me when I do the mentoring in 2023, which will all be Twitter based and YouTube based. Okay. So there won't be any kind of private membership signing into this and that. You don't need that. Okay. So when you see people saying, hey, you know, join ICT's private this, that's a lie because that's not happening. Everything's public. Okay. All my examples are public. I do that for a particular reason. That way, everybody sees the examples. All the examples are the same. There's no, this crowd gets a buy version, this crowd gets the sell version. I've canceled all that stuff for years. There's people out there that say that stuff all the time because they can't do what we do. They got to make up excuses why. There's no way humanly possible someone can be as precise as the examples I show. And that's not me beating my chest. Okay. That's just facts. Okay. And unless I make them public like that and everybody sees the same thing, it leaves room for people to make those arguments. And years down the road, when they see things taken out of context, they take pieces of social media and they string along a narrative that is nowhere near to what actually happened. You know, new people, clueless individuals, you know, neophytes or new subscribers or viewers would see that and think, wow, you know, there's probably something to that. Maybe there's a reason for caution. And then good old ICT comes out there like I did on Friday and rip everybody out of their chairs and say, look, this is what really goes on. And we're going to cover a little bit about that today. And I know some of you are dying to know, how did I do back to back 2 days, leaving the fair value gap open and telling you in advance before it happened, you're going to get that. But it's the towards the latter part of the space here. Trust me, I got a little itinerary. Okay, so I won't forget, I promise. But in 2022, you know, I showed, you know, there's talking heads out there that show you screenshots of a supposed background of, you know, their results of, you know, 5 years ago. This is what I did 5 years ago with a screenshot. And that's supposed to be a history, a track history. And I don't delete anything I'm putting out. And when I make a mistake, I leave the typo and I'll say, okay, this is what it is. Or one of my students will come behind me and type in what I meant, and everybody pretty much knows what it is. But I don't delete anything. And any analysis that if I said something, if it's wrong, you see it. And if it's right, it's plain as day. And I went out there and I showed through the lens of a TD Ameritrade account, which is I believe it's a commonly accepted, realistic, verified. There's no way to game it. None of the funny business that MT4 and I believe MT5 still can be messed around with. Anything MetaTrader, you know, I'm probably going to get a lot of flack for this, but you know, that's the reason why I walked away from it, because once it was revealed that, and I kind of suspected that a lot of these guys that were doing it, saying that, you know, they made this much money and they only show you the history. You know what I'm talking about. They show you the little, this is the results of my trades. Here's my week, bro. Here's what I've done. This is, nobody can keep up with me, that type of stuff. But you don't see them actually getting in a trade, managing, placing a stop. And that's what I have always done. When I was on baby pips, I showed examples of that. And they were always after the fact, yes, because you're learning things from hindsight, just like a book. Whenever you sit down and you go to college, you know, unless you're doing a lab or having a laboratory event, which is basically what 2023 is going to be. You're going to be in the laboratory with me, Monsters Incorporated. Okay, I'm going to build monsters. All you have to do is put down all your preconceived ideas and opinions about what it is you think you know about me or what it is I do. And I promise you, I guarantee you, you are going to have the proof that you've always looked for. You're going to have the track record, you're going to have the history, you're going to have the results, and you're going to see the fucking money. Okay? All you have to do is come along for the ride for free. I don't have to pay. You don't have to pay for nothing. You ain't got to buy nothing from me. There's no upsell. There's no service down the road. I'm now going to do another mentorship. All you have to do is take a ride with me. That's it. 2023, I'm putting the nail in the coffin. It's done. Anybody that's ever had an opinion about me that's off base or off centered, they're going to get corrected this year. If you had doubts about whether or not you can do this, I'm going to remove that for you. All you have to do is listen. Just show up, take notes, and pay attention. That's all. Don't ask me questions about something else that I'm not talking about at the time. You may think it's a pressing matter for you to learn what you think you're needing to learn. Like right now, the hot button is I need to know. And every guru out there that's been ripping me off and renaming my stuff, they're all waiting today for me to talk about how I know when fair value gaps stay open. Because that's what separates me from Chris Laurie's group. Okay. And I've always said this, and I'm not shitting on Chris Laurie. I'm just calling it what it is. Because there's a lot of people that say, I learned how to trade from Chris Laurie. Chris Laurie did not teach me how to trade, period. Okay, that's the end of the story there. I have always stated that if someone wants to go and learn from somebody else, I have never, ever, ever repped anybody else as an educator but that guy. Now, are you going to see him going in there and executing trades? Probably, unless he's changed. I didn't see him doing it. I didn't see that. But you also didn't see him teaching what I'm teaching. Okay, so this whole idea of a liquidity void, okay, that is all. It was always a sticking point for me because I didn't see it that way. But just to be, well, polite, I never wanted to correct him, even in our private conversations and emails and such. I always like tried to ask him what he meant about this or not. And one of the questions I kept asking him all the time is, when you refer to a fractal in price, what is it that you mean by that? Like, what are you referring to specifically? Not that I don't know what a fractal is. I wanted to know what it is that he's specifically talking. And I never was able to nail him down to a clear cut response. This is what I refer to here as a fractal. So, in a lot of ways, I can see how anybody that's an educator can fall short and miss the mark. And I've been doing it a lot longer, I believe, than Chris Laurie. And I know a little bit about the market. I know a little bit how technical analysis works. And I still couldn't glean what it is that he was trying to deliver when he would refer to a fractal. Okay. Maybe someone else, maybe you're in the audience here and then you're a student of his, and maybe he's even listening too. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to either one, but I just simply couldn't get it from him what he meant. And maybe you did, and that's great. That's wonderful. That's why some students of mine, they really resonate with me, and that's great. But there's other people who's going to come here with a sincere desire to learn. And they may even put the work in, but maybe my personality or the way I talk, and maybe sometimes I drop F bombs too much and whatever. Maybe it sounds like I'm bragging when I'm just talking the facts because I coded this, I authored it, it's mine, and I'm proving it. No one else can prove it like this. It's it's not meant to be a divisive thing, but unfortunately, sometimes the truth is very decisive. It's decisive and divisive. Okay, so I used to get affected by that. I would wear my heart on my sleeve, and on baby pips, I would be offended if someone would say, I don't like how you teach, and it would bother me. Like it would really bother me. Like it would do damage to me, where I felt like I said, okay, I got to fix this one person, and I would go overboard and put more and more and more into the videos and more into the instructions. And sometimes I slightly deviated from the whole process and plan I outlined that one evening sitting in my living room where I was reading all these people with this nonsense they would put up and say, this is what makes the market go up. Or this is what makes the market go down. And they would show you these things they would add on top of their charts. Okay. And it was just, it angered me because that's a lie. That's a lie. See, Even if you're in the audience right now and you don't like Inner Circle Trader, you don't like Michael Huddleston, you don't like ICT, okay? You think he's a dick, you think he's a braggadocious, arrogant prick that doesn't deserve the attention he gets. Okay, put that aside just for a moment. Okay, take your ass over to Twitter and pull up what I did yesterday. Okay, you don't see any of these people out here. None of them. Not one of them. Not a Larry Williams. Not a Oliver Velez, which I got a story about him a little bit. None of these guys. Nobody has ever done that. Took you from a daily chart all the way down to a 5-minute chart, gave you the very specific levels that the algorithm is going to work with for that particular day. And then I left you with 3864. Note that. When I left you, that was the morning session. So what's the next time you're going to trade? The PM session. Mm-hmm. Don't worry. We'll get back to those charts on Friday, but just go back and go through that thread. Once you're done listening to this space today, if you didn't see it, go back and look at it and choke on it. Okay, because there's undeniable proof that there's an algorithm. It's undeniable proof that I'm privy to it. And I got my fingerprints all over it, and you can't do anything to change it. And guess what? Yes, I can stand in a court and do that. Yes, I can demonstrate it. And yes, I can bring receipts. And I want to take you all along for a ride in 2023. I want to take you on an experience that you would have never had, ever. It's going to be fun. It's going to be interactive. It's not going to be inundating. I'm not going to give you a whole lot of videos to bog you down. It's going to be very specific. It's going to be right now in the market, right now in the charts before it happens. You're going to fucking see it. You're going to know what's going to happen before it happens. And after a couple months goes by in the middle of the year, you might think to yourself, wow, I have been complicating this the whole time. He's taught this, but I have brought things to this learning process and slowed myself down. Yes, every one of my profitable students comes to that realization. Always, they tried to bring everything to the table when they try to find a setup. You don't need that. Look at the 2022 model. I clearly reduced that down to the minimalist approach to doing it. And it's beautiful. It's poetic in price action. It's not going to work every single time on every single time frame, every single minute of the day. You have to wait for certain characteristics and signatures to materialize in price. And once that occurs, and I know what some of you are thinking, well, what are they, ICT? Go through the lessons in that 2022 mentorship. It's there. You're asking for something else because you're looking for that void in your experience doing it, seeing charts print real time, studying back data, hindsight movement. So you're trying to fill in a simple response from me that will never adequately fill in the necessity for you as the student and trader in development to go into the chart yourself. See, that's the part that all of the lazy people, every single one of my intakes, 2017, I'm sorry, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, and 21, every single group that came into my private mentorship had a group of lazy ass people. And yes, that sounds disrespectful, but folks, that's what it is. That's the defining thing. Oh, I looked at your videos, I watched your videos, and I wrote 5 pages of notes. How you going to call me lazy? You didn't do the work. What's the work? You got to put your ass in front of the charts. You have to study what it's done, look for the things that I've taught you, have copious amounts of notes going back for months. And then you do that each day too, annotating every single time. And you study them on the weekend when the markets aren't trading. You have to pour yourself into this, folks. It's not going to be easy for you. It ain't going to be just watching a video. And some of you, unfortunately, have this expectation that I'm going to somehow make it so easy that you're going to watch a couple live streams with me and you're going to figure it out right then and there. I'm telling you, some of you young men are going to do this and you're making a mistake. You need to spend the entirety of 2023 with me. You have no idea what you're stepping into. You have no idea what you're getting ready to get involved in and learn and what's going to be expected of you personally. You come to me wanting to learn. And I'm prepared to teach all of you, but you have to be really prepared to learn. Some of my students that have come to me over the years weren't ready. They had to come, figure it out that it wasn't something they wanted to do or be a part of, and they would leave and go do other things and hurt themselves and come back and say, you know what, I didn't feel that that person understood what they were doing. Let me give this ICT one more chance. And I had people do that. I had one guy come in 2016, quit after the first month, then came in on the 2017 group, went halfway through and quit, and then came back in 2019. And I had made him pay every single month all over again. That was the terms. That was the way it was. You know what? He's happy he did it now. Doesn't need any hand holding from me. So what does that tell you? He was the problem. You are always going to be the problem. It's not the teacher. It's the person trying to learn this because this is something entirely different from anything else. It's not a sport. It's not an exercise regime where, everybody is going to follow the, same procedure. It's not like Peloton. We're not going to be sitting our asses in front of a, a computer screen each time we do it, and we're all going to have the same results. We're all going to have different results. Even if I were to sit in front of you and press the button and go into the market and trade, go long, here's my stop, here's my target, I'm going to take my partials here. You're all going to do it differently. You're going to sit and wait. Let me see if it really is starting to move in the favor he's talking about. Okay, now I'll chase. I trust it now. He's probably right. You're smiling. You're thinking, damn, he's got me. That's exactly what I would do. Right. This isn't my first rodeo. I've done this for a long, long time, folks. I've trained a lot of people, and I have a lot of students that came and failed. Failed. Not because this stuff doesn't work, because they are broken. They have never fixed themselves. They've never been responsible, personally responsible. And it's so easy for them to point and find a fault outside of themselves. And you're going to have to do very, very hard things in 2023 to keep yourself from feeling that way because you're going to do something wrong. You're going to get things incorrect when you're trying to learn. Your observations, when I prompt you, what do you think it's going to do right here? Do you think it's going to go to this level or do you think it's going to go to this level? It's interactive. It will be interactive. And if you get it wrong, do not look at that as I'm defeated. I'm never going to learn this. The moments you don't do it right, or if you get it wrong, that's zeroing in on an opportunity for you to improve on. And when I periodically ask everyone as a community, where do you see yourself having a sticking point? It will help me as the educator dial in on the areas collectively where people are having an issue. But if you don't show up every single day, you won't be caught up with the group. It's as simple as that. You have to show up. Time will do all the heavy lifting. I know exactly what I'm going to do with y'all. I know exactly what's going to happen, but you have to do the work. You have to show up. You have to stop looking outside of the markets that I'm talking about because I don't give a shit about Bitcoin and crypto. Stop asking me. They're going to zero. I've already told you that. Don't ask me about Forex. Unless I'm talking about it in my analysis, it's done. I'm going to talk about it on a daily chart. That's it. You'll have my view, you'll have my bias. You can work with that. Okay. I'm making that available Monday through Friday, unless my personal schedule or a holiday comes up. I will have a short, little, concise video talking about where I think the market's likely to go. Is that not enough? It should be. I've already taught you how to trade. I've already taught you a model. If I'm telling you the bias where I think it's going to go, there it is. Sit your ass in front of the charts and study and practice with that. You will get the results you're looking for, but they can't be given to you. You must earn them independently. Period. End of story. There's no shortcuts. I wish there was because I could have been done the first year doing this on baby pips. So here, there it is. It's done. And just see you. Check in and see what's going on once in a while. But it's not that easy, folks. It's hard because each one of us has mental baggage. You have stuff that's wrong with you, but you don't want to call it something wrong. You want to find a reason to justify your shortcomings, your issues, your character flaws. And see, profitable, consistent long-term successfully trading in the marketplace requires you to master yourself. You're never mastering the markets. It's never going to happen. That is never going to happen. How do I know that? Well, I know it like the back of my hand, and I still can be humbled. It'll do something that I didn't expect. And you saw two examples of that with CPI, which is exactly why I don't trade ahead of it. I know my limitations. I know where I shouldn't step, or the market will remove my head cleanly, efficiently. So when I talk about those things and how to avoid it, those unfortunately are the topics and lessons that nobody really wants to pay attention to, because they think if they just learn how to pick the right order block or the fair value gap that stays open now, you see how that changes? That's always been an interesting study for me as a teacher. Whenever I reveal something, and this is the only thing that my trolls have correct. Everything else, they're full of shit. But every single time I've either revealed something new or deeper, everybody collectively that is not really versed in what it is they should be doing or have settled in on a particular model of their own, they clamor to that thing. And when it was order blocks, it was that. Oh, and it was breakers and mitigation blocks, and then everybody calls everything mitigation. Mitigate. You know, when the market goes up here, and it mitigates. It drives me nuts. You don't even know what you're talking about. Like, that's nonsense. It's nonsense. The market's not mitigating. Okay, the trader that's offside mitigates. Okay, so you can tell who has learned from who. The knockoff courses, like when they say, "Oh, I'm looking for a liquidity grab." What the hell is that? Like an institutional candle. They don't exist either. So you're going to have to slowly press into uncomfortable places in your learning next year, because the trolls were right and are right when they say every time ICT releases something, little buzzword or something like that, everybody flocks to it like it's the only thing that works in the marketplace. And they're right. Some of you, a lot of you, do that, and you don't need to do that. I mean, it's interesting to see your passion and pursuit to learn more about it, but I'm not stupid. Like, I know that everybody's going to chase the new buzz thing, because smart money concepts is kind of like the leader of the pack now in all the analysis venues on all social media. And yes, it's viewed from it's a love it or hate it. There's no middle ground in it. And that's fine. That's good. There's liquidity. That has to happen. I don't expect, I never anticipated that everybody would love the things that I'm teaching, or even me. And that's why I've always said, don't worship me. I'm not your hero. I have always been the anti hero. I've championed demo accounts. I called myself the demo baller forever. And this year you saw a live account. Just in 5 weeks, over 100% return, even teaching drawdown resolution, problem areas, doing things incorrectly. I had students ask me all the time, hey, what happens if you put a trade on and say you hit the buy button and you really want to do the sell button? What do you do in that instant? Well, I've done that. I've done that several times throughout my career. And if anybody says they didn't do it, is a liar. I mean, it's simple as that. I mean, I've done it. You're going to do it too. Oh, man, especially if you're using those hot buttons up in the upper left hand corner on TradingView. In fact, I almost did it this week. I was literally hovering over the wrong one. I'm like, whoa, what the hell am I doing? That's not what I wanted to do. So I kind of tell myself constantly, because usually I'm have my son next to me, try not to get in a conversation or talk when I'm getting ready to engage those entries or taking off partials, because I actually did that last month. I ended up trying to take up a partial off on a long, and instead of taking and selling, I ended up buying one more when it should have been a partial to come off. So what do you do in that instance? You correct it immediately. You don't even think about it. You just correct it immediately. So if you're looking to go in the marketplace long, this is an extra thing. This is a rabbit trail. So you get these in these live things with me. But if you're looking to go long and you make a mistake and you hit this sell short, you're entering in the wrong direction immediately. As soon as you realize you do that, don't look at the profit and loss and try to wiggle your way out of it. Oh, maybe it'll no, don't do that. Don't do that, especially if you're learning from me, because if you're learning how to trade with my concepts, you probably won't get that opportunity because I'm teaching you where to get in right when the market's going to have an explosive move. So why the hell would you be messing around waiting to see if it's going to come back and cover your dealing spread, okay, or allow you to cover for cost of commissions and fees? Fuck that. As soon as you make the mistake, get out. Just zero it out. Done. And maybe in most instances, especially if you're new, just watch the move that you were getting ready to participate in. Because when I was younger, I did that kind of stuff because I was in a rush. I was in a rush to get in there, and once we had activity that could be placed, you know, with a discount broker when I was trading with Lynn Waldock, $30 a round turn, which was great because I came from Fox Investments, which was $100 round turn. That was robbery. But that's what it costs to do one trade, one contract. It was $100. Now imagine trying to do your 16 contracts full position on something like that. You ain't doing it, brother. So you had to constantly shop around. And there was Ira Epstein or Epstein or whatever it is. And then you had Lindwall Doc. And then you had, there's one more on the top of my head. No, I can't remember. And there was a third one that was really like the competitor. But anyway, Lindwall Doc became in like the best one everybody would flock to. And they had great service. I never had an issue with them. And I don't know where I'm going with this one, so we're going to have to reel it back in. But the point is if you make a mistake and you get in and you're on the wrong side of the marketplace, just get out right away. There's no reason to be worrying about taking a small little hit. But wait, if you're new, you haven't got the experience. This is where I was going. Sometimes when I was a younger guy, I would get in and I was thinking, okay, well, it's moving a little bit against what I would have been doing. And if it's moving in my favor a little bit, maybe I was wrong, right? Maybe I was wrong. And let me just see what happens with this. And then all of a sudden, it goes where my initial analysis was, but my stupidity in pressing the wrong button, getting in foolishly, hitting the wrong key, getting in, human error, and then trying to, oh, maybe it was a good mistake. Maybe it was the universe, helping and guiding me do it the other way. And then my ass just got torn up from it. So I've learned if you make a mistake and you enter on something that was not predetermined as far as the logic as why you went and did it, just pull out of it, get out of it. Don't worry about it. Just take whatever that little cost, that paper cut, get get it and just be done with it, because you can see something turn violently against you and it would just be more demoralizing. It's simple. You did a mistake, you get in, you did something wrong, get out. Who cares? I'm not going to beat myself up about something like that. But I did beat myself up about trying to stay with it on the instances where I tried to work out a way of covering the cost of commission. Because let's be honest, when I first started, I didn't have a lot of money. I didn't come from riches. I didn't come from wealth. One half of my family had money, but it was my father's side, and I had no access to that. It was a grandfather that wasn't biologically mine. It wasn't my father's father, so he wasn't entitled to anything. In fact, nobody got anything from him. When they died, everything went into their children, his biological children. So I didn't have any advantages in that regard. So when I had losing positions, or if I had a loss of any kind, they were monumental. Like they did major psychological damage to me. But because I'm obsessively compulsive and I have a lot of other issues in my hardwiring, that doesn't make me the perfect person. It would cause me to do things to be more aggressive about trying to get it back faster and inspire me to never quit. Sometimes I would be beaten down and my account would be dusted and blown. Like seriously, like that was very hard for me to save up money to get that account started again. And then in a matter of 2 days, maybe 3 days of doing full of shit, chasing the grain markets, trying to think that just because the market was showing me a reversal of the normal carrying charge market where I teach, and the nearby contract should be cheaper than the next one out and going further. Well, every time I saw that inversion, because I learned this from Larry Williams and because I watched it in a video, I thought I understood it. Okay. And I looked and saw the commercials were above the zero line on the net trader position chart. So naturally, what does that mean? Every time that the Williams percent R was in oversold condition, that was when you buy it. That's what I was thinking, that was all I had to do. And I would be buying it expecting to go into limit up moves. And it would keep going down and stay oversold on the Williams percent R and keep going down and keep going down, and I'd buy more, and it would keep going down. And then I would trade now without a stop loss because, I know I'm right. I just don't want to get stopped out. And it just keeps going down. And all of a sudden the account's gone. I did that shit when I was younger. Okay. I did all that dumb shit because I didn't know how to trade. I didn't know how the markets book. I didn't know what the market is going to do. After those conditions present themselves, you still have to get in there and wait for structure to change to support that bullish idea. See, I didn't know any of that stuff. I just figured, well, the indicator says this. The market's showing that we're in a commercial bull market based on what Larry Williams taught, and I got money in my account, so fuck it, it's casino time. And I was looking at an account statement saying zero or just a couple dollars in the account, and it would suck. Like it would suck because I was thinking to myself, I know I can do this. Is I got to find a way to get in alignment with the market. I got to find a way. How does the market give me clues, indications that this is in fact the time to be doing something? And I watched that video I put up yesterday. That was like a 2 minute something, and I had people commenting to me on TradingView and in the YouTube comment section. I wish I could see the video, at a slower pace. And I had a lot of robots and bots and sock puppeting from my favorite fan in Texas, saying it was cherry picked. But it's like this, folks. TradingView follows me on Twitter, which I'm honored. Thank you so much if you're listening. Bar Chart follows me on Twitter too. Thank you, good. Thank you guys. I appreciate that as well. Both of those services, I actually use them. I feel that they're great. They're not paying me. It's not a commercial for them. But if I was doing something in TradingView that isn't available to everyone else, and if it wasn't real time, I would expect TradingView to step forward and say, Inner Circle Trader, that isn't a live thing. In fact, I might even invite them after this in a tweet and say, hey, is this what real time looks like on your platform? Because there's people that say that that's market replay, and you can't do, as far as I can see, I've not been able to find any way to do a trade when you're looking at market replay. And market replay screen looks different once you engage, it's different. But putting all that aside, I know that when you, as a student, see me do those trades and you think, wow, man, if I could just get like that, okay, then life's going to change for me. Well, I'm going to explain something to you. When I first started, I didn't think what I'm able to do now was even possible. I'm going to say that one more time. And it's not bragging. I want you to really listen to what I'm saying here. When I first started, even when I figured out what it is that I wanted to focus in on, I did not believe that I would be able to do what you're able to see me do now. It took a lot of time to get to this point. And when you see people like a Michael Jordan or Tiger Woods, which are real goats, okay, these men are they're the epitome. That's the upper echelon. Like you can't get better than them. That's it. That they are it. They didn't get to that skill level right from Jump Street. They didn't just walk out there and say, yeah, I'm going to do this and then I'm going to be this great at I wasn't like that. Like I failed a lot. I blew lots of accounts. I tried changing stuff around. I tried taking things out of what I felt was working. Maybe that would make an example of improvement that would be notable. And like I said, I figured it out like 2.5, 3 years into it. I knew what I had, but I was tinkering around with it, wasted 3 more years of bullshit, back testing and theory testing and putting money in accounts and I would run money up and then crash and burn, run money up and crash and burn because I'm trying to figure out the optimal settings for everything. And I'm also doing things automated with easy language, TradeStation. All these things, these cuts, death by 1,000 cuts. Well, those 1,000 cuts didn't kill me. They make me a fucking animal today. Okay. I have scar tissue so thick, it's like bulletproof and wrecking ball proof too, bitch. Okay. I can literally walk into any setting, any venue, whether it be in front of the CFTC, SEC, FTA, courts, public opinion, whatever the fuck you want to bring, I can prove this stuff. And I would gladly do it. I would gladly do it. I would go on CNBC and do that shit live in front of everybody. Give me the opportunity. My ass will be in a car driving up the road, and you'll see me on there with a t-shirt, alcoholic. Think I won't? Test me. See, I won't do it. They'll be hiring me. There's our new anchor, ICT on CNBC. Join us every morning in ICT's. Anyway, I'm just fucking with you. But I would do it. I am not lying. I'm telling you, give me an opportunity. I will make a show of it openly just to thumb my nose at all the doubters. I would love it and win new friends. But anyway, the the folks that are looking forward to next year thinking it's going to be a magical transformation for you, you're still going to have to work your ass off. Okay. The only thing I'm lending you is the 30 years perception and experience. That's it. That's it. You're still going to be complaining that I didn't tell you when to buy. You're still going to complain that I didn't tell you where to put a stop loss. You're still going to be complaining where the best partials would be and what amount of partials. See, all those things have to be a unique decision. I didn't understand it either. Okay, it doesn't sound like that's how it should work. It sounds like, well, it should be the same way for everyone. How the fuck's that even possible? If it's the same for everyone. If everybody's doing the same fucking thing, how can there be liquidity on the other side of it? You see what I'm saying? That's also the argument that I'm going to pose to you in a little while when we start talking about that one tick stop loss. Yeah, we're going there. But I want you to think about how you're going to wreck yourself next year in the learning process because you're going to try to put more than I'm willing to put on you as your educator. As your mentor, I'm going to tell you where you should be focusing. And when I tell you that, it doesn't mean, okay, well, I have extra time and extra energy. I'm going to take on this on top of it. What the hell? Don't do that. And I'm telling you, I've seen this with every group that I've ever had, even before when I was doing one-on-one. I had some students would come in, they would listen, do exactly what I said, and they'd do well. And then I'd have these guys coming in, and one lady who was like, I'm convinced she was a gambler, like straight up gambler. But they would come in and I'd say, okay, this is what you're supposed to be focusing on. And they only had 1 week with me. This is what you're focusing on. This is all you're going to do. And I would sit there and they would have to do it in front of me. And they would start doing other shit, messing around here, messing around there, open their Blackberry up, scrolling through and looking at their emails. I'm like, do you see what the market's doing right now? Mm-hmm. You're not even looking at it. You're looking at your Blackberry. What the fuck are you doing? Why are you here? You want to learn how to do this? The Blackberry's not going to tell you to fucking buy. Why are you looking at that? Put that shit down and look at the chart. The chart's going to tell you when you're supposed to be doing something. Oh, yeah, okay, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Fucking, I know I'm right. You're here to learn from me. Why are you not listening to me? So it's very frustrating. Very, very frustrating. Trust me, some of you wouldn't have been able to deal with me on a one-on-one basis. And you all want it, but you wouldn't want it. Trust me, once you sat in the seat next to me. My own kids don't fucking want to deal with it. Yep, that's the way it is growing up ICT. So so we've had a wonderful year of learning. I've had so much fun, and I promised you that you would see precision. I promised you that I would show you, and I waited to the last day of the year, and that's typical of me. And I walked you through a top-down approach, and you're all encouraged to go and look at the longer rendition of that little short video from yesterday when I recorded the PM session. If you go into that, um, what is the video description box underneath the YouTube video? If you click on that, it'll maximize and show you my whole dialogue there. And I give you the actual link that begins the thread on my Twitter feed. If you click on that, it'll take you step by step from the very first tweet all the way through all the charts. I go from the daily chart, 4 hour, 60-minute chart, 15-minute chart, and the 5-minute chart. Okay. And I state very plainly that those are the levels that I'm going to work with for today. Now, the backdrop behind that was, and this is also included in those tweets, nothing was deleted. I don't ever delete a tweet ever. I make mistakes. I'll either admit something or type something wrong, and I'll add it in an additional tweet, but I'm not deleting anything. Nothing is hidden. I'm not hiding anything. No double one direction this way, one direction that way. I'm not giving you two sides of, an outcome. And I said, okay, we're looking at very specific levels. Okay. And while it was important for you not to engage, because if you are engaging or pressing the button, you're going to be worrying about your stop loss getting hit or moving around instead of watching price, which is what I was guiding you through in the beginning before the 9:30 opening. So we were looking for that draw on liquidity, and I'm not going to steal the thunder from it. You go and look at it, and it hit it beautifully. I engaged the very thing that I teach you in my lessons, in real mentorship. Okay, I drew your attention to a very specific thing in the charts, and you'll see it when you go through it. I engaged in it, hit it, and then I aimed for the liquidity and that draw on liquidity level that you saw in your charts. And it was perfect. Perfect. You couldn't ask for anything better than that until the PM session. Because I know, and I knew when I was teaching on Friday, I said, look, you have to have some kind of a beginning point. See, you all that are young and you're really just wanting to be like my examples, you want to be able to do that, because I already know if I create monsters that can do what you watch me do on Friday, I'm going to tell you this right now, none of you are going to be able to do that next year. Okay, that's not going to happen, and that's not a knock against anybody's aptitude or intelligence. I'm just telling you from a realistic perspective, it took me decades to get this way. It didn't happen overnight. I didn't have it in my 8th year. I didn't have it in my 10th year. It didn't happen in year 10, 12, 15. Okay, around 20-ish. Then it started, like, I was finding my groove. But you won't be able to trade like that in Forex. And that's why I said many times when I see these folks out there about 2 pip stop losses, okay, you're not going to trade with a 1 tick stop loss in Forex. You're not. Okay. And if you start trading size, what size? Well, it's relative. But if you start trading with size and you're thinking that you're going to do consistently a use of a 2 pip stop loss or 1 pip stop loss, and your broker's not going to open their spread to grab you, yeah, you're full of shit. That's exactly what they're going to do. And there's nothing you can do about it. That's why if you look across the spectrum of all those Forex brokers, everybody's high is different. Everybody's low is different because you're trading in their pool of liquidity. FXCM, Forex.com, all of them have their own little servers. And every one of those servers have a different high and different low. But you're not seeing it because you're not looking at it comparatively. But open up 2 accounts in the same brokerage firm and see if you're not in 2 different servers. They're going to be slightly different. But you signed on knowing that. You can't bitch about it. When you signed up and you signed all those papers that you never fucking read, just like when you buy a house and you buy a car, you open up a bank account, you're giving the money to the bank. You don't realize it yet, but you are, and they're promising that if we got opportunity to give your money back to you, we will. But there might not be a chance for that sometimes. And if we can't, then we're going to call your money an investment in the bank, and we'll call it a good day. Thanks for your investment. See you later. Futures, bonds, S&P, NASDAQ. I'll go so far as to say Dow, but not as clean as ES and NASDAQ. Why don't I trade Dow? because I can't fucking stand it. I look at it like the dollar. It's just a barometer. It helps me confirm something against the other averages. I don't look at Russell. Okay, I think it's garbage. You don't need it. The Dow, the Nasdaq, and the ES. That's it. You need one triad, three markets that are closely correlated. That's it. So when we look at precision elements in price action, you're not going to find anything cleaner than stock indices and bonds. There's nothing cleaner. There's no other market out there that's cleaner. That's also the reason why I can't stand crypto, because crypto is a full of shit market. Like it's got, look how long Bitcoin's is hanging around that narrow sideways channel. How many of you are losing your mind over that shit? That would drive me nuts. Like that kind of shit. Ugh. That reminds me of silver, decades ago. Silver would just do that. And then everybody would be making courses and books and shit. Silver's going to have a historical breakout. It's going to be in a long, narrow sideways channel. Well, and it's all the bullshit I learned from Ken Roberts rather, and lost my ass. First trade, 50% gone. That shit don't work. Okay, that's like gambling. That's like scratch offs, lottery tickets, the Powerball. You ever noticed how the Powerball, since they did that scam job, and they said somebody won the $2 billion? First of all, they didn't do a drawing, and it's like slowly creeping up because nobody wants to buy a ticket. They're pissed off. They'll buy the um, Mega Million, but they're not doing Powerball. You see how easy it is for me to get distracted, and you want me to do a live stream and answer questions and watch the market too. Fuck that. I can't do it. You're going to have to just watch what I'm doing. I'll talk about it before it happens, and there it is. But I can't answer questions while I'm doing live streams. But you're going to have an invitation to be a part of a interactive learning process. I'm going to do my best to try to make it so that way you have to see it yourself and listening to my dialogue when it's salient. So when you're watching the price charts with me live on YouTube, I'll prompt your attention to certain things. And then I'll tell you, screenshot this. If you can't be there live when you're watching the replays, at that moment, pause the video and screenshot it. Okay. If you don't do those types of things, you're not going to get the results that you're probably hoping for, at least not the results that I'm aiming for. If you do what I'm telling you to do, you will learn amazing things next year. You'll have a better understanding about what I do in the mornings and in the afternoons. How do I get my bias? How do I know what I'm looking for? How do I know if I should be trading today or not? What happens if I feel like I think this is a day I'm going to trade, and then things change that takes my willingness to want to trade away, and then I don't want to do anything? See, that's mentoring. That's the real shit that books can't do, a 1 week workshop can't do. You have to be with someone that knows how to do it, that's done it more than just in the last year. I got funded account. I'm going to start doing a mentorship. Fuck, get the hell out of here. You're teaching ICT stuff, so just stop. Save everybody's time and money. Give them their link to my channel, and it's done. It's easier. They'll respect you more in the end. But Friday, I went through the top-down approach. I went through the daily chart with you, and I mentioned in the narrative of everything, think about what yesterday was. Okay, I prompted this in a tweet. I said, think about what has been going on, who's been making money recently. The shorts. The market's been bearish. It's gone down. Yes, we had a rally off the lows on the daily chart, but year-end squaring of positions, that means folks that are holding positions that, for taxable income and things of that nature, if they're holding positions, what positions are they likely to be squaring up towards the close of the day? Well, if you're short or predominantly short, when people are closing in positions on a short, they have to do what? They have to buy. So that's already a built-in advantage. So now think about why I said 38.64. Note that. Relative equal high. Note that. And I left you in the morning session. What did I teach you in the 2022 mentorship when it starts to trade in the afternoon session? You use the lunchtime liquidity. Where are the stops? If it's been going down, where are the stop losses in buy side above that lunch hour? The market's going to gravitate towards that. Unless it's a strong one directional trending day, which isn't always the case. You have to be a trader working in markets that are not like that. But if it's one direction, just a big tear off right from the beginning type day, you either got to be in it from the beginning or you're done. Just leave it, let it go. But if it doesn't have any kind of like real retracements of any kind, that's what I'm referring to. Those types of days, unless you're in at the beginning of the move, it's better just as this turn it off, come back the next day or whatever. But that's not what it feels like you should do at the time. You want to chase it, or you'll spend all day waiting for a retracement that never comes. It just keeps melting or keeps barreling higher. Those days cause people to blow their accounts because they chase and they chase and they chase. And even knowing that they shouldn't do it, they put on a bigger position to make up for the fact that they didn't get in at the earlier point. And in any little retracement of any single candle or two, which is insignificant in the grand scheme of that move, they collapse the trade because they can't handle it. And it still keeps pressing on. You've been there before, haven't you? I know what that feels like. I did that shit in oats. Oats, thin, shitty ass market in commodities. I did that. And it was in a mood that just kept moving and moving and moving. And because I was trying to make up for the fact that I didn't get in when I knew I should have, I put in a bigger position than I should have. And every 1 cent move is $50, kind of like an ES. And when you're carrying 15 contracts and you can't really carry that much in terms of margin, it doesn't take long to scare you out of the trade. And 4 cents, 5 cents, it was enough for me. I had to bail it, and it would still keep going in the direction if I just would have held onto it. Never went to what I would have used as a stop loss, but I couldn't weather that pain. 20-year-old man, 20-year-old, no clue what real money was. Wet behind the ears in life. Freshly divorced. I had a chip on my shoulder. I had all the things that you're going to complain to me about if we were sitting at the bar. Okay. You want to give me the reasons why you're not successful. Your father hated you. Your mother disowned you. Your wife cheated on you. Everybody's, hated you and shit on your entire life. Dude, I have all that stuff. Okay. I got all that shit. And that's none of that. None of it's an excuse for you not to be able to be successful at this. None. I was homeless. Okay. Trust me, I'm telling you, there's nothing you're going to be able to bring to this conversation that says that this is a verifiable reason why you can't make it work, because that's bullshit. You have to have the tenacity to say, I'm going to deal with it and stick with it. And understand that, like what I did on Friday, walking you through the daily chart, and I outlined the fact that we are in what? The last day of the year. Now, the narrative I gave you and the reasons for it was this. Last trading day of the year, we're not expecting a lot of volatility, but let's note it. The previous day's high and the previous day's low. Which one's likely to get hit? Well, if you consider the fact that we're in our last trading day, it's a Friday, there isn't going to be new positions barreling in there. There isn't going to be this big rush to, I got to get in here. There's going to be a big move. Not on the last trading day of the year. They're not going to have that. So that means what? We're likely to have an inside day. How did I know that? I'm sure you're probably asking, like, I hope he answers, how do you know it's going to be inside day? Well, I've already said and what I've explained thus far, but we also opened below previous day's low. I'm sorry, below previous day's high and above previous day's low. So at 8:30, when we start looking for something, and at 9:30, those two time periods are important. There's 2 hours of the morning session that you have to be in front of your charts between 8:30 in the morning and 9:30 in the morning, all the way up to like 10:30. I guess technically what? Yes, it's 2 hours. That's your morning session. Now, if you haven't found a setup by then, don't. There you go. There's 80% of your losing trades now been removed. If you chase something outside of that 2 hour window, if you haven't found anything yet, don't. Wait for the PM session. How did I know that? Dozens of blown accounts. When I stopped doing that shit, I stopped wrecking myself. It's chasing things. That's all you're doing. It's FOMO, fear of missing out. Oh, I gotta get in something. I've been here 2 fucking hours. So, what's 2 hours in the whole career lifetime of you trading? It's shit. It's nothing. Movies are longer than that, for fuck's sake. And you're trying to make a big deal about 2 hours of sitting in front of the charts and did nothing. You got chart time. You got experience. Stop looking at that as I didn't get anything out of it. See, that's the right now woke crowd perspective. And oh shit, I probably stepped in some shit right there. I don't care. This generation is too fucking lazy. And you're going to have to find a way to fix that lazy ass if you're going to make money in this, because even ICT can't fix lazy ass. That lazy ass syndrome, if you bring that into this industry, you're done. You're done. There's no way you're going to be able to cope with the wrestling match that this is going to put on you. And when you lose, you're going to feel like it's something that was done to you undeservingly when it was you that invited it, because you're doing something in a hurry, ill equipped. You don't know what you're doing. You're rushing and you expect it to be easy for you. Let me tell you something. It's not easy. It's not easy. Once you learn your model and you know what it feels like to get your ass burned and you know the consequences of doing stupid shit, you know boundaries. Kind of like that yellow double line in the road. Don't cross that son of a bitch, because if you do, you know what's going to happen. Bad stuff. And you might not be here long after doing it. You're going to have to be personally responsible and making decisions where financial success or ruin is all on you. All on you. A lot of you that are young don't like to weigh that out and say, you know what? It really is all on me. Yeah. And that's a terrifying feeling. And me being in a live session with you next year is not going to remove that. In fact, for those that are going to make the mistake of trying to take a live trade based on what I'm saying live, you're really going to be shitting yourself, because once you put the trade on, and I'm not saying the things you want me to be talking about, you're going to see, like say, for instance, I'll paint a picture for you. Say I'm calling the market to a specific high above market price. And I'm saying, I believe the market sentiment right now is prime for a run on buy side liquidity. And I have this level here. Let's study this. Right away, some of you are going to be like, oh shit, that's it. Daddy just gave me the invitation. I'm going in. How much margin can I afford? Right there, you done fucked up. Number one, you're trying to press a button instead of watching price and learning to read each individual candle. Not, I just bought it. I don't even know where I should have bought it, but I heard him say it's going up and I got time and I got to get back to work. I'm on my smoke break. If my boss sees me fucking with this phone, I'm going to get fired. I can't afford to get fired yet until I learn how to make this money, because this year I'm going to over leverage my funded account and I'm going to be independently wealthy and I ain't got to worry about this shit. But I'm going all in. You're laughing right now, but you know damn well that's what you thought you were going to do. And you shouldn't. Don't do that. You're not going to understand how to reprice if you do that. Because if you go in and let's just say you foolishly press the button and you get in even a small position, the smallest leverage you can afford to put on, or the broker will allow you, and then you're in there. You're going to be watching the profit and loss going up and down, not reading the individual candles like I want you to do. See, you got to get yourself in sync with how these markets book, minute by minute, second by second, interval by interval. You cannot be a divided mind. You can't have your attention elsewhere and learn properly. If you're watching that P&L tab on your open position while I'm doing a live stream, you're fucking doing it wrong. And you are going to fail, even if that trade makes profit. Because once I pack it in and the close of 2023 comes and you have to do this all by yourself, it's going to feel like the weight of the world is crushing on you. You're going to be scared shitless when you have to make the decision on your own, because you've wasted your time trying to catch what you're thinking is easy money, instead of taking the opportunity and placing in all of your hands to learn how to do this in an environment that is safe. You can't hurt yourself. You can't hurt yourself. Now, it might bruise your ego for some of you that thought you knew how to trade. And when you see the things that I'm going to teach you, that's fine. You can come back from that. But it's real hard to come back from putting money behind a trade that you don't even know why it's likely to move. You're just trusting me. Don't trust me. Not on the face value. You want to go into the charts and do it. See it. Earn your own personal trust in these concepts. And that's why I've always openly challenged. Don't take my word for it. Go in there and try to debunk it. Notice how no one's ever been able to successfully do that? Yeah, because you can't. I am the algorithm. I am the author. It's mine. And I know it. And I am welcoming you all to join me, and I will share it. I will show you all these little pieces that come together, and you'll find one good opportunity per week. That's your career. Everything else, that's all on you. But you want to find a way to outpace inflation? You don't have to pay me for that. I'm going to teach you how to use what I've already given you. Where's there a better deal in town? Where is there anyone else out there making it this accessible with proof that it has precision that's unrivaled? You see, I've waited for this entire year to finish because I couldn't wait to lay this on you. Because I know some of you have woke up to, wow, this shit is it. Like this is the real thing. Yeah, it really is. And I'm the real thing. And I've always been the real thing. I didn't have to go out there and dance and perform and show everything that I can afford to own. And I didn't have to show you any live accounts, but I did. I showed you precision. I went in a live stream, I think twice this year, and called the very fair value gap and where it's going to go. I did it. Oh, that's just a cherry pick. No, it's not cherry picked. It's right then and there. You all have probably seen leaked videos of my mentorship where I was giving analysis, and I've received lots of emails over the years saying, I want to join. I've seen leaked comments of your commentaries, and I looked at the charts and it did exactly what you said. Please let me join. No, no, you don't need to. I'm going to be on YouTube. I don't do analysis for my private group anymore. So stop fucking asking me. You can't join that. It's just them enjoying each other's company, and they're a community. They earn that spot. That's where it is. But there's no secret analysis. I'm making it public. I'm literally laying it in your hands. What are you going to do with it this year? Are you going to sit around and try to take pop shots at it and find fault with it? Or are you just going to really say, you know what? I'm going to take this guy at his word and he's going to make it available. I'm going to see if there's any validity to it. I'm going to do everything he says and let's see what happens. That's all I'm asking you to do. No PayPal, no credit card, no coupon codes, nothing. Because I already know, I already know I'm going to have a legion of new believers that are able to do this on their own. And my wife and my family and I will be reading all of the success stories like I've been reading this entire fall, all the way through. I'm getting letters. I'm getting, these are real people, folks, bringing up that, hey, look, this is what I've done. And I have nothing else to thank except for the stuff I've watched on your YouTube channel this year. This is amazing. I've been doing this for 15 years and I've never made money. Now, with watching what you've put on YouTube, I'm making money. I'm funded. I got $400,000 in funded accounts and I'm taking withdrawals. How do you argue against that? And when you're one of those types of people, is it going to matter who doesn't like ICT or what you do or think it's fake? You're not going to give a flying fuck what anybody thinks. You're making bread and you're breaking bread. It's not going to make any difference what anybody thinks. They're not spending your money. You're spending it. And you're able to do it without ICT. That's what I want. I don't want glad handing. I don't want people holding on to me saying, I need you to do this. No, you don't. You don't. I don't run a service where you got to keep paying me because I think that's unethical. I don't charge people anymore. I could. I could make a fucking ton of money right now. I have money. I want to live the latter stages of my life principle oriented and have a clean conscience that the things that I've known for years that I was told not to share with anybody else, I had to create a language. In that language, I have, it wasn't easy. Let's be honest. It wasn't easy for me to try to bridge what it was that goes on versus what could be talked about and not get me in trouble. Oh, what do you mean by that? You're not supposed to know this stuff. So if I make up, well, terms and usages of theories that would be very, very close, very, very, very close, okay, to what the actual algorithms do in the marketplace. Now, when I say algorithms, there's two of them that dance together. The engine that runs price, that is the algorithm. How does that work with smart money algorithms that engage price engines? Where do they enter their orders? Where do they adjust their orders? Where do they close their orders? See, that's that synergy between both of them that I had to create a language to be able to communicate how that happens and not divulge what has been given to me that you are never going to learn. Oh, here we go with this Tom Clancy shit. I don't give a fuck if you believe it or not. You explain how I can do what I can do and find it anywhere else in any other fucking theory or retail horseshit or some super power engine, black box horseshit that doesn't work. I know it sounds arrogant, but it annoys me that people see the obvious and they still can't see it. I'm going to literally sit down with you and map out every 1 minute and 5 minute candle, real time, 2 times a week. You're going to see it. You're going to walk it with me. Every fucking candle. Nobody does that but me. And I'm looking forward to it because I know jaws are going to be hitting the floor. People are going to be shitting and falling back in it because they're going to be like, damn, this guy is exactly what he said he was. Yep. And I never had to be more than what you saw. And here's the kicker. Even after this, there's still going to be people out there and they're going to say, yeah, but he didn't do this. He didn't trade in front of you. He didn't do this and that. See, these are the same people that have sorry ass win records. Their stats suck. They can only over leverage and gamble. And they call that skill. That's not skill. I'm not a 50-50 trader. Notice that? I don't want to have a 50-50 strike rate. I don't want to operate or engage in an environment that invites only that as a possible outcome. I want to be in there when the stage is set for me to obviously get everything I could possibly garner as an odds in my favor. And you not knowing those things right now is a cause for you to feel anxious. Like I'm hiding something from you. I'm promising you all the things that I'm never going to divulge past what I've already done. I never ever have to teach those things. I have simplified things. Like there are simple macros in the marketplace that run every single day and you can find them and make money. That's what I was talking about with that 5 handle move. You can find a 5 handle move every single fucking day. I don't give a shit if it's seek and destroy. I don't care if it's a trending day, if it's a consolidation day, if it's a classic buy day, classic sell day. It doesn't matter. I can go in and you can too. After 2023, you'll be able to find a 5 handle move. That's 20 ticks in the S&P. You can make a career out of that. What if you parlay that up and use money management to build it up, build it up, build it? As you make more money, it allows you and affords you to do what? Carry more contracts and not increase the percentage of risk. It stays the same. What does that mean? Well, let's say you start with a hypothetical funded account of $10,000. Okay. Oh, and you can't make a lot of money with $10,000. Well, Larry Williams did in 1 year. You can't make what? You don't think you can make tenfold on that over a course of a year? I think you can. I believe it's possible. So stop listening to these fucking people that say you have to have $300,000 of funded account to make money. Bullshit. Last time we talked, I said, what if you get that funded account for 100,000? and you just make 1.5% a week. That's 6% per month. Compounded over the year, that's 100%. That means you made six figures, $100,000. Tax it, you probably got about anywhere, depending upon where you're at in the United States, and I can only talk from the United States perspective. And barring any kind of special tax treatment, the likelihood of you getting trader status in the first year of trading is not likely. You have to have a track record. So you have what? 100,000, tax it, you probably got anywhere between 68,000 and $72,000. That's a good living, folks. That's a good living. Now, if you just did that every year and you did nothing more than that, are you failing? Did you miss the mark? How do you rate in your social media equity curve amongst your friends and family on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram? Do you feel like you're not up to snuff with them? Stop worrying about them motherfuckers. 90% of these people don't even make money. 90% of them can't fucking trade. And if they are with a little bit of money, they've made their money selling shit. And I've been very open and honest with you. I have made more money selling education than I did my live trading. It's easy. People pile in, they want to learn, they'll pay, they'll pay, they'll pay. Trades you have to wait for. You have to wrestle through. You have to wait, lose, come back, lose. It's a lot. And when you learn how to trade and do well, guess what? If you want to use that as an income source, I don't think there's anything. It's just because I stopped doing it, just to prove a point to everybody. Because he makes his money doing this. Okay, well, I'll stop doing that. But these same fuckers are out there trying to sell new shit. Oh shit, with 12-year-old furniture in their house, dusty as shit. So you have all kinds of potential income streams laid at your feet once you know how to do this. You could be in fund management. You can be in prop firm. You can educate. You can do signal services. You can do YouTube channels. I mean, there's nothing limiting you once you learn how to do this the right way, and you can manage yourself efficiently, effectively, and manage risk properly. There isn't a living soul on this planet that wouldn't be at least interested in see what you're doing. They don't have to subscribe to your views of it. For people that don't, look at it this way. For people that couldn't afford my mentorship, they still watch my videos on YouTube. For the people that don't want to watch my YouTube videos, they still read my tweets. Doesn't matter. You have an audience. I have an audience. So there's a way for you to monetize this skill set in so many ways, and it not hinge on you making your trading income support you initially. That's the major thing that I want you to understand, because see, you're all trying to get rich real quick, and I'm not promising you that. I've never done that. I've always taught, have modest expectations. Back on baby pips, try to get 25 pips a week. Yeah, 25 pips a week. And if you're risking 2% each trade, it builds up nicely. I shared a spreadsheet that did all the math for you. Oh, here we go, spreadsheets. Okay, go back to Friday and see what I did. I outlined it in detail, where the levels were going to be, where it's going to go. Inside day, why happened? You thought I forgot about that. The likelihood of the market not going above Thursday's high and below Thursday's low on the last trading day is highly likely to stay inside the range. So if it's going to stay inside the range, it's going to be what? An inside day. No new positions are going to be pushing the range beyond Thursday's high or below Thursday's low. So right away, we have adjusted our mindset to, we are not looking for a big breakout move, because it's not likely to occur. Why? Because it's the last trading day of the year. It's Friday. And we're in the middle of a small consolidation on the daily chart anyway. Go look at your chart. Go look at the charts I shared. You'll see that. Now, that idea of looking for an inside day forces us to do what? Trade with internal range liquidity. So that means we have to work within the previous day's high and the low. And then anytime we take a trade and we trade outside of a new range, what does that mean? All the levels that I gave you going through the daily, the 4 hour, the 60 minute, the 15 minute, and 5 minute charts. I gave you all the fair value gaps, the discount low and the premium high of each one. And I took you top down into the smallest 5 minute fair value gap. Now, your charts probably don't have it extended through to the PM session. Take those ranges, extend them all the way into the 3 o'clock, into 4 o'clock, and then look at where I was buying. Look at where my stop loss was. One tick stop loss. I was not worried about that coming down and hitting my stop loss. Why? Why was I not worried about it? And why did I go in and buy more when it went down to the bottom of that fair value gap on the 5 minute? I'm sorry, on the 1 minute chart, because everything was sitting on that 60-minute discount low of the fair value gap. Look at the range on the 60-minute chart and where I drew out on those charts that I shared on Twitter, the discount low of that fair value gap. Extend that through into 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock hour. And then I have to have my notes here. I don't want to say anything incorrectly. If you look at the 11 minutes after 3, everything, your chart should be on New York time. Okay. So you see me doing, because I had premeditated all these conversations. I click on New York, showing you this is New York time. Make sure your charts look like this, because our conversation I'm having right now, which I had planned all this stuff, look at the 11 minutes after 3. Okay. And if it's on New York time, it's going to be 15:11 to 15:13. That's your 1 minute fair value gap. Now, if you look at the low on the 1 minute chart at 15:25, 15:27, and 15:30, respectively, in local New York time, that would be 3 o'clock, 25 minutes after, 3 o'clock, 27 minutes after, 3 o'clock, 30 minutes after. Those three lows went exactly to the low of that 1 minute fair value gap. It did not need to go beyond that, because we've already rested on the 60-minute discount low of the fair value gap on the hourly chart. We consolidated in that larger fair value gap in that 15-minute time frame, and I layered all those fair value gaps. So in layman's terms, this is what was going on. The market dove deep after my trade in the morning, getting the 5 handles, knowing full well by doing that, it would set the stage for trolls to say, 5 handles, ha, ha, ha. They're not getting 5 handles consistently, but this is continuing our conversation. 5 handles is enough for you to make lots of money. Lots and lots and lots of money. You can make all the money you'd ever need or want can be made off of 5 handles. So don't be discouraged by me or other people showing beyond 5 handles. You have to have something that you can reach for that's realistic. So what happens if you get 5 handles? Trust me, I know I'm going to continue on with the whole why I did not get stopped out. But I have to make this point here. Like I said, I got notes, folks. I'm not going to leave anything untouched. 5 handles can be done one time a day easily. You can really do it every session. Morning, afternoon, morning, afternoon, morning, afternoon, morning, afternoon, morning, afternoon. That's 10 trading opportunities per week. If you can nail down 5 handles, how many handles is that over the week? 50. Now, what if you aim for 50, but you just average around 25? Because you're learning and your strike rate, not mine, your strike rate is 50-50. Are you failing? No, no. Your goal, your model is to aim for that. I have a model that I'm looking for when I'm not trading actively Forex now, but I was looking for 50 to 75 pips every single week. I could do lots more, clearly, but it was easy for me to do it. It doesn't put pressure on me. And I have lots of ways to get it. I can get it from one setup. I can do one shot, one kill. If I don't get the one shot, one kill because I was either not on the charts or I didn't do it right or I just missed the opportunity, whatever, then I have to break that up over the course of one other trading day or multiple trading days or trading sessions. And I'm not forcing myself to go in there and try to squeeze an unrealistic expectation of 50 to 75 handles from a day that isn't likely to move that much, which is the point of what Friday's discussion was in the morning. Last trading day of the year, E-mini S&P, it's going to be an inside day. It proved to be an inside day. Now, if you can get those 5 handles one time a day, and you trade Monday through Friday, and you don't get caught up in trying to keep up with everybody else on YouTube or whatever other medium out there that's going to lull you into thinking that you need to be doing more because they're still doing something. Oh, this guy over here, he caught 10 handles over here. I got to get in here and do some more because it's really moving today. Stop. Stop. Listen, the banks are open from 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock, Monday through Friday, unless it's a bank holiday. And there's money going in those fucking bank accounts all the time. People are going in and making deposits and they're doing withdrawals just because that's all going on. Do you got to run to the bank? You got more money to put in the bank? You got more money to pull out of the bank just because everybody else is doing it. Stop trying to do things because you see business as usual everywhere else. That's them doing their thing. You're running your business. Your business has business hours. What is it? 8:30 to 10:30. If you stay inside those 2 hours, I promise you, all the bullshit that you're struggling with will go away. And if you just wait to the last hour, 3 o'clock to 4, that's it. There's your 3 hour work week. Do one scanning on one particular day, a medium impact news event or a high impact news event. You look 8:30 to 10:30 in the morning. If you can't find it there, wait till the afternoon. Especially if the morning is shit, you're probably gonna have a really good PM session. Something will happen real easy because it it likes to give the smart money a cookie, it being the algorithm. So I'm dropping all kinds of diamonds in here, folks. And if you're not taking notes, man, you're really wasting the opportunity. It's being recorded in case you can't be here for the whole time, but just know that this is some really good shit. I would have paid money for this stuff coming up. I actually did lots of it. I lost lots of money in accounts learning this shit. So, but 5 handles, if you do that every single day, that's 25 handles a week. So you can do approach of looking for a trade, a swing trade of 25 handles to aim for it. And if you can't find it, if you're not skilled to be able to find a move like that on an hourly chart or 4 hour chart, no problem. Break it up. What happens if you get two 12 and a half handle moves? There's nothing wrong with that. You can find that on a 15-minute chart. But what happens if you don't have that much skill to do it like that either? And you're really trying to do that 1 minute chart because you don't like to be in there too long. You want to get in there, do your surgical strikes, and get out because you're scared and you haven't built up enough confidence yet. I understand, no problem. Go for 5. Go. Personally, I go 5 1/4. Caleb, that's his model. He does 5 1/4. So once he gets 5 1/4, he's done. He's not looking at the charts no more. He's done. And I can't get him to sit with me anymore after that. Once he's done, he's done. I'm like, now watch this. Now, Dad, I'm done. I'm like, but I want to show him some more shit. And he's like, Dad, you told me. I'm like, I know, but I just love this shit. I want you to see this. But I get really passionate about it. And even though he's still growing in his understanding, I want him to be sick, like a monster. Like I want to take what I have in my head and put it in him. And with his youth, and he has a lot of the things that I have too. Like you tell him no, he's going to find a way to do it. You tell him he can't, he's going to find 12 ways he can. So I know if I can instill what I know in him, he will make me look like a neophyte because he has the time doing more of what I already know. It just, it's very hard for me to manage him because I don't want to push too hard and like drive him nuts, but also don't want to be so hands off that he limits himself. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm ICT and dad competing to be the better of the each. I want to be the best dad I can by not forcing it on him, and I want to be typical me, ICT, where I want to cram it down your throat and it's over and over and over and over again, too much, and now you're choking on it, and you're gonna have it my way, you know. So it's very hard for me to manage that. So, but as a 5 handle trader, that's a realistic expectation for you to have. And if you're really, really new, by doing tape reading, you can grow in your confidence and say, okay, I see a setup that might yield 5 handles. But what happens if I go in and I get in the move and I get out with 2 3/4 and I just get out and I watch it go to 5? And then I do the same thing in the afternoon. Guess what that is? It's 5 handles. And you don't have that much time in the marketplace. It lets you get in and get out. It rewards you and you grow in your confidence. Is there something wrong with that? No. Not if you are so new as a trader that your experience level doesn't permit you the confidence or comfort, let's say it that way, to be in the risk that's associated with being in the market live. So you put your toe in the water, you feel if it's too hot, if it's moving around real quick, you go in, get your 2 3/4 move, and then bail out and watch and see if it goes to the five handles. And if it does, you'll grow in your confidence. Okay, if I just would have held on to it, it would have done that. Not thinking, oh, I wish I would have held on to it. Why'd I do that? No, see, it's how you log and journal. You retain the positives and you don't record any of the negative stuff. Because when you record it in your journal, negative, your subconscious retains that. And you anchor a toxic event around something you're trying to grow as a positive investment for your life. So you're shooting yourself in the foot, basically. You're trying to turn something you've been motivated to do for a positive thing, you're turning it toxic without realizing it. So that's why you're sugarcoating all of your journal experiences. You want it to be a love story to yourself. You're writing a love note to yourself every trading day, and you're doing it through charts. You're showing charts and you're putting little, I love what I'm doing. This is great that I can see this. And you're retaining that. Your brain loves that kind of stuff. Your brain loves it. It releases chemicals into your body that remembers it better than just the static memory of it alone. Think about it. When you went to a movie, maybe you've already seen this movie, okay? And you went there and you saw it with your friends. You saw it, it was all right, okay? And you're meeting this girl or significant other, and they say, hey, look, I really would like to see this movie. And you're thinking, oh, fuck, I've already seen this movie. All right, well, they want to go. I don't want to be a jerk. Let's just go with them. And you go to the movie and you have a great time. They're holding their hand and they're, the experience there. And now all of a sudden, that movie has a positive attachment to your memory versus, yeah, I saw it. It was all right. Now you got somebody that's nice to you, that smells next to you. It's like beautiful. And it's a totally different experience. And now you add to it what? All the embellishments of what happens after the movie without being crude. And it doesn't necessarily mean the bedroom either. Going to a dinner, taking a walk and saying that was a great movie. I love having time with you. All those things are positive things that you're remembering. When you break up with people, as painful as it is to think about the things that caused that breakup, when you're not with them and they come to mind, what do you think of? I miss them when I used to do this with them. And you miss that. You ache because you made what? A positive memory about that moment with that person. And every time you think about that song when it comes on, that's why it hurts because you can't plug into that good feeling anymore. You've been cut off. So you don't ever want to invite that shit in your journaling. Journaling is always positive. You never, ever, ever say anything negative in your journaling, ever. Even if you did something wrong, you say, okay, this was an amazing opportunity for me to get the insights for when the market does this. You see how I just did there? I discharged and disarmed any possible chance for me to look at that losing trade or an idea that I thought would have panned out in the marketplace that was, perfect example, CPI. You saw two instances where I co-signed. I didn't have to do it, but I wanted to prove to you this is what I would expect right now, and it didn't do it. It just went right up the other way, or other way, going down. There was another time earlier in the summer where I did it where Caleb was right next to me, and literally was like, wow, that was so quick. But that same instance, I was right about it, but I wouldn't touch it. So that speed of movement and price action on those types of events, if you're wrong, the way you disarm that is say, okay, this is why we don't trade ahead of the CPI number because it's too violent, it's too one-sided, and it's unforgiving. You can't trade your way out of it. You can't fix it. When the damage is done, it's like a neutron bomb, just boom, it's gone. All living organisms are evaporated. Everything else looks the same except for any living organism is gone. So you don't want to vanquish your trading career on one trading event like a CPI number. And you don't also want to stifle your development by recording highly emotional negativity in your journal entries. And it's easy to do. You feel like you want to do it. Don't. Don't go on social media and complain either. Oh, it's stupid so and so. Or I made a stupid mistake. I fucked up doing this, doing that. When you do that, you release it and it comes out of you. You think you let go of it, but your subconscious has got a lifeline to that, and it's anchored to your subconscious, and you will not cut it off. And the next time you get in the marketplace, what's going to happen is, all right, I'm getting in a trade. Oh shit, this feels like that last time it did this and this and this, and I, you know, took a bigger hit than I was supposed to. I'm scared. Now you're worried about having a repeat of that same toxic event. That's normal with trading. You're going to have a losing trade. You're going to do something wrong. That's normal. Okay. Every one of us is doing it wrong. Okay. Every single one of us is going to have that. It doesn't mean you can't trade. It doesn't mean you're not profitable. It doesn't mean you have a good system or not a good system. It just means that you're human. But when you get in that trade and now you're starting to think about that other time when I was at band camp and you know what I mean, that whole bad experience. I'm not trying to make fun of anybody that went to band camp, but no, I didn't go to band camp. But if you look at the logic of referring back to another trade while you're in that trade, are you managing that trade? No. You're managing fear about another trade that you can't make more on or lose more on. So your mind's divided. So the way you avoid all that shit is not to give it any energy in your journal. You take every experience, positive or negative, profitable or negative, a loss, and you make it an instructive, positive installment in your development. When does your development stop? When you're dead. I'm improving myself day by day, week by week. I'm a better mentor today than I was when I first started teaching as a young man before I should have been teaching. I'm not the best. In fact, I know I'm not the best mentor. I'm not. My trading is the best, and my ability to read prices is the best, but I'm not the best teacher. I wish I was better than I am, and I'm trying to be better than I am. But I guess we'll find out if this is an improvement in 2023 or not. But that five handles is plenty, and you can split it up and make your whole 25 handle career on multiple trades or one individual trade in the morning that gets five handles. And you're done for the whole day. That releases you from all of the expectations of being in front of these charts longer than it's necessary, which is good. You want to limit that. So if you get your trade five handles when you're first starting out, turn the charts off. Look at everything afterwards in hindsight. Don't be lured into doing more because something moves around quick. You don't want to add to what's already been given to you, and that's your goal. Stop. That's what profitable trading is. Having a goal, a business model. Okay. We call it a trading model, but it's a business model. Foot Locker don't go out there and say, you know what, we're doing so well selling shoes. We need to get into the fucking pizza business. Let's start selling pizzas and burritos. Because who wouldn't want a fucking Foot Locker burrito, right? That shit don't work. Okay. You're not going to upset the model that works for them. Okay. And vice versa. You have a model, you sit down, you've done all the work, you built yourself up, you're learning this, and now you settled in, you're going to look for five handles in the E-mini S&P or the NASDAQ, one or the other. I'm preferring ES, and I think you should do that too. If you want to go into NQ later on when you have more, ability, that's fine. But when it moves fast, it can be wild and it can hurt you. It's a little bit more chaotic. So just be mindful of that. Don't be afraid of it, but in the beginning, respect it, because if you don't know what you're doing, it can sting you. But you want to have that business model of knowing, when are you going to stop? See, when I go into live streamers all the time, I'll ask them, I say, hey, look, I asked this of Trades by Matt. I asked it by Corbs. I asked it by two other YouTubers, and they ignored me in there because I know why. They don't want to talk to me because they think I'm in there, trying to make fun of them. I'm not. I respect anybody that's doing a live stream. I would never go in there and try to be disruptive about anything like that, because number one, it takes a lot of focus and it's a dick move, and two, I can respect the fact that they're doing it, because there isn't a lot of people that are willing to get out there and literally live stream. So that is ballsy in anybody that does it. Yeah, that's that. They got my respect, even if they blow up all the time and blow their accounts and go to maximum loss multiple times in the same week. It's still respectful that they do it. I want to ask them questions like, hey, when do you stop? What draws the line in the sand? Say, okay, I'm not trading anymore today. I've done enough, either because of the loss or the win. Like, how do you get to the point of contentment where you no longer feel that it's needed for you to be in front of the charts? Have you even considered that in your development, in your building of your trading plan? Because it's easy to see, oh, it's early. I've already got my 10 handles for the day. That's 2 days work. That's 2 days of work. What do you think? You're going to go in there again? Because that's exactly what you're going to do. You're going to think the market's on fire. You got to push your edge until it's dull and you lost what you made and more. Plus commissions. Don't you feel smart? Twitter can get you hurt by people that don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Your business model is only profitable when you follow it. Your trading plan is only profitable when you follow it. Your wife, your husband, your significant other, your children, your dependents, your best friends, your coworkers, your boss, and ICT, we're not going to be there to help you press the button and manage it and tell you when to stop. That's personal responsibility. And all of that rests on your shoulders. And if you're not in tune with the things that will lure you into dumb shit, gambling, going in there one more time, you got a good day. You made $1,000. You didn't try to make $1,000. It just happened, fell right in your hands. Don't look at that as, oh shit, I'm way better than I thought I was. Fuck. I've been thinking about this all this time, thinking I wasn't that great. Look how good I am. I'm gonna go out there and do this 5 more times because shit, that's $6,000. Who doesn't want a $6,000 day? And then all of a sudden you're looking at your account, it's gone.